Hello, everyone. At 10:59:30 on Friday, February. No, what am I doing? Friday, January 12th, 2024. I'm jumping ahead. The Other People's Show on 92.5 WLSD, 1220 AM. WLSDradio.com. Go check out the website there. And go on to WAXM 93.5, sister station. All the good country programming over there as well. We're going to have fun tonight on this cold night. It is, it's actually harder for me to do a show when it's very cold weather. And I do know that we have a lot of cold weather coming toward us within this next couple weeks, or week, I guess. I'm not looking forward to that at all, because I don't like cold weather. I'm more jolly, more jovial, happy, in warmer weather. Nonetheless, bringing everyone a great show tonight is what we're going to try to do. Please go to all of our social media pages. That is the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The Other People's Show. Everything is growing. So thank you. Thank you all very, very much from the bottom of my too small heart. Just going to talk about a few things tonight. Not stay on and keep you all very, very long, because I know you all have some things that you probably want to do. Probably up late, getting over the holidays. They're finally over. They're in the rear view mirror. Hope everyone had a good one. Didn't get to really discuss it last week due to, like I said in the opening show, being under the weather. So everyone out there that's sick or feeling down or feeling, not good, it will come a time when you feel better again. And that time's coming soon. Because you can't have the sweet without the sour. And you're just going through a sour time right now. I do believe that's true. I've went through a lot of sour times in my life. I went through a sour time back when I was a young kid. We moved from Wise, Virginia, all the way across America to Washington State. But not only just to Washington State, but all the way across the state in Puget Sound on this little island called Whidbey Island in a town called Oak Harbor, Washington. And it was this little island that we lived on, like a little Navy town. And while there, I had G.I. Joes, original. Transformers, original. The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, original figures. Original carrying case. Ewok Village. Jabba the Hutt. All the characters. All the main ones, anyway. Lived there for a couple of years. And then we ended up moving back to Virginia. Little did I know, though, when I was waiting and watching on my items, my belongings to arrive. And they never, ever arrived. So here I am, being a 11-year-old, waiting on my items and possessions and things that I've had my entire life not arrive, not show up, never arrive, and never show up. Then, when the day of price guides, and then obviously now the internet and things like that, I can look up the value of those said items. And as I see the dollar signs and hear the ka-ching sound, that I'm never going to make any money off of those because they were lost, and I'm not going to have them. So yeah, that is one of the many, many, many things that I can be sad about and will be sad about because those things would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's true. It's a true scenario. It's very sad. And still there never seems to be a single penny left for me. That's too bad. In my dreams, I have a plan. If I got me a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work at all. I'd fool around and have a ball. Money, money, money. Must be funny in the rich man's world. It's true. I would be rolling in the money, 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 money if I had got my possessions back. And there's been many things like that over the years that has happened. And therefore it's made me a little bit sad because I've never been as far along as I should have been or could have been had things went the way they should have went and the way that they could have went. But they didn't. They went the way they should have went and could have went for me. But that's okay. That's okay. I was thinking back, though. I've been a little bit nostalgic over the last little bit. And I just wonder if nostalgia, is it more of like a feeling? Does it hit me when I watch certain movies? It hits sometimes when I'm listening to a certain song. Or maybe just driving and my mind just begins to wander about things from the past. And I was thinking this show was started, not this particular show, but original incarnation of the show, the Midnight Mutants radio show, started on January 21st, 2003 is where I think it started. Now, I know it was January. I'm pretty sure it was the 21st. But the way the show even got started originally was that I had lived in Washington, D.C. This is a different Washington, the one, a couple of hours north of here. Not where I grew up as a kid. But I had listened to a lot of talk radio when I had moved up there right after 9/11. I'd moved up, 4 days after 9/11 occurred. And I was working, I took a year off from college and was working at a movie theater. And while I was up there in that area, that I would listen to, you had Howard Stern of the morning, then you had Don and Mike, then you had Opie and Anthony, then you had the Sports Junkies, and then you had Ron and Fez from 7 until 11 p.m. And I would only catch a little bit of Ron and Fez due to the time that I left the theater. But at that time, I was more, really into Opie and Anthony, which is what I really, kind of what I based the original incarnation of the radio show on. And, a lot of people have asked me over the years, why did you come up with the Midnight Mutants radio show? No one wants to be a mutant. Well, I thought it rolled off the tongue pretty well. Tom Green had a show in Canada when he was younger called the Midnight Caller, where callers would call in from around Quebec and Montreal in Canada, and it was just a little college radio show that he had done. And during this time, the early 2000s, I was listening to some of these old Tom Green radio shows that I had been able to discover and find. And I kind of put a mixture between, the Midnight Caller and the Midnight Mutants. And little did I know that it was a video game of the same name. I didn't know that at the time. But it ended up being, one of the longest running things that I had done. It started in 2003. And it continued all the way until 2011. So it lasted quite a long time. And even a couple of times throughout, the Midnight Mutants was more, it started off more of like shock jock shows that we would have callers call in, and it would be me and a couple of friends that we would do the show every Saturday from 11 I think originally 11 to 1:30, but we ended up changing it from 11 to 1. We did the show, and we were right on at midnight, hence the Midnight Mutants radio show. And it got to the point where we had a loyal fan base and a loyal following. And, we had polls on the website, and occasionally people would, recognize us from college, at college, or even recognize. There was once or twice when I've been out at that time, and my voice was recognized. And that was always such a special feeling, because it's one thing to be recognized now, because you could be recognized. Oh, I've seen your video. Oh, you're in People You May Know. Oh, you work here, you work there, this or that, And I did work at the movie theater, so I was known, I guess, through that as well. But getting known for something that you're passionate about and something that you present to people is a completely different feeling than, getting recognized in another way. Because that means that people had to seek out, for the most part, listening to the show on the radio dial. And like now, there's many ways you can get the show. You can get it on, Spotify and YouTube and Facebook and on 92.5 and Twitter or X. So all these different platforms. But at the time, you didn't think of a platform. A platform was something that you stood on to, get the word out. But now we have these digital platforms, and we have people all the way in, Sweden that listen to the show. In France, in Germany, London, Australia, Coburn, Big Stone. All over the globe, we have people, even in California, we have people listening to this radio station and listening to this show. And that just blows my mind that it's came from, where it was until now. And that's something that's always intrigued me now, because even back then, I do remember thinking, I wish there was a way that we could communicate and put the word out about the show like we do now. Like we did on like ICQ, and then I think we had like LiveJournal, and this was even a little bit before MySpace was a thing at the time. And we did utilize MySpace and social media, but there's never been a way to utilize social media like now. And I'm at a constant fight with myself about how I feel about social media, because on one hand, it's you can look up anything that you need to look up in a split second. You can talk to someone across the globe. You can hashtag and find like-minded people. You can organize events. You can put your videos and put your radio shows and podcasts and everything out there. But on the flip side, look at all the damage and trouble and mayhem that it's caused the world, or caused said individuals, losing their careers, losing their jobs, in some cases, losing their livelihood over something that was posted years ago on social media. So, that is something that is, that I think about quite often. I really do. But social media is something that has really benefited this radio show and a lot of podcasts. And I do feel that I was at the forefront of the podcasting revolution. Because we began the podcasting, honestly, back in 2006, 2005. Not only with SoundCloud, but you can go back and just type in the Midnight Mutants radio show, maybe even the other people's show, and find things from, 15, 18 years ago. And that's crazy. Because if you have things like that chronicled, and you have things like that recorded of your life in video, but if you have it recorded for a significant amount of time and you're speaking about something, then when you go back and listen to that, it can set you back to where you were. And you can be like, oh, I remember what I was thinking when that was going on. Wow, I didn't know. I could have handled that so much better now listening to it. And you can see the mistakes, or you can see the progression, or see, your mindset of this said period of time of the past that you're listening to or watching. And that's something that's very cool. That in the past it would be like you would have a VHS tape, which we know those still around, or a burned DVD, or an actual photograph, a Polaroid. But now we have all these digital footprints, and people from a certain age and beyond, probably 2010 and on, almost everything is chronicled with a digital footprint in some way. So that's a good thing, I guess it can be, because you can look back, especially if you keep these things and are nostalgic as well. But it can be a bad thing too, because there you are and can be followed and traced throughout the years. So that's kind of an interesting irony between the two, dichotomy. You know what I mean? I hope you do, because I really feel that way. And it's just so weird also, because time, it's just going by so quickly. Every step of the moment is just speeding by us. And it's kind of like we're living this moment, but it's just for that second. And then it's gone. Whether it's, passing by, looking out the window, speaking, watching a movie. And sometimes I'll be like, this happened, I think it happened yesterday. Maybe the day before yesterday. And I don't really know how to describe it. Like, I really don't know how to describe it. Actually, we'll talk about this when we come back from break. I'm going to play a song tonight, All I Ever Wanted by the Airborne Toxic Event. I might have played this a few months back. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play it again, and then we'll come back, and I'll talk about this little weird experience, and I'll try to explain it to you all and see if you all have had something like that again happen to you. So this is All I Ever Wanted, Airborne Toxic Event on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault.
I can only say these things to you while you're sleeping. I hear the hum from the wires, the sounds of the morning creeping. I lie awake and pretend you can hear me. You tell me that you're scared, that you're turning into your mother. I feel myself turn into my father. We could lie to each other like they do and say we're so happy. It's easy when you're young and you still want it so badly. And I feel my heart pounding, and I think I might scream. I can tell you that you're all I've ever wanted, dear. I can utter every word you've ever hoped to hear. I shudder when I think that I might not be here forever, forever, forever. One night you whisper like a ghost and you look so shaken. You're so quiet and small and you tell me you want to be taken. I just never think of you as the kind of girl who would say that. You suddenly seem like some faceless thing in my grasp. And your eyes so wide, your face aglow. It's the face of someone I don't know. I can tell you that you're all I've ever wanted, dear. I can utter every word you've ever hoped to hear. I shudder when I think that I might not be here forever, forever, forever.
And that was the Airborne Toxic Event, All I Ever Wanted on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault. And you're listening to the Other People Radio Show on this Friday, January 12th at 11:21 p.m. Just going to be here with you for a few more minutes tonight, but I do want to tell you a little bit about this. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not really sure how to explain what I experienced. I think it was the day before yesterday. And my voice got a little bit high because I'm not 100% certain. So the other day, and this has happened, a couple times, to be honest with you. I was driving a few days ago, and it's kind of like all of a sudden everything is like you notice every little thing. And what I mean by that is like you notice that it's like you're in the moment. You're exactly in the moment. With every little thing, and you're like, is this real? This is really happening. That light is changing from red to green. My hands, you can only see. See, it sounds crazy. I'm trying to, express it with the only tools that I have, which is verbal tools right now, and I'm failing miserably. But I was driving the other day, and I was just driving to, I think I was just actually taking out the trash is what I was doing. And I got this sense about me that I was totally in the moment for just a moment. And it was kind of like all these things are happening concurrently. I'm driving and turning and listening to the music and watching the light change from red to green and watching the rain come down and the windshield wipers go back and forth. And then I look at the rear view mirror, and then it's a thought that you can only see yourself when looking through the mirror. You can never see what you look like through someone else's eyes, and they can never see what they look like through your eyes. Only through video, only through pictures, only through a mirror. But it's not the same as looking through someone else's eyes. So all these things I started thinking about as I was just driving. And just for a moment, it felt none of it really mattered. What I'm doing is not really mattering. It's not really, because I've not been present. And it's even now at this very moment, even though I am present, and I'm here and I've got monitors to the left and in front of me and screens to the right and ring lights and microphones and mixing board. But it doesn't feel 100% like I am in this moment. And that's the thing, is that what was happening? Because there's been a couple times in my life where it's kind of been a weird sensation like that. I don't know. Tonight's more of a I don't know. I really wanted to get that out there, but I've failed in conveying how it hit me, how I felt. And I did try to look it up the other night, and I didn't even know what to look up. Have you ever tried to spell a word? This is kind of an unrelated thing, but your grasp of how that word is spelled is so terrible that when you try to go spell the word, to look up how to spell the word, that it doesn't even come up. That is how I feel tonight in trying to convey to you, the audience, how I feel, how I felt. displaced, maybe. But it wasn't like a negative. It wasn't a negative thing, and it wasn't anything, oh, you must be drinking and things like. No, I haven't. I haven't drank in quite some time, and I plan to keep it that way. And I think that you all should keep it that way too. January is a good month for that, so stay on track, by the way. Very proud of each and every person that has decided to take that leap and not to drink. That is a very bold and courageous thing that you're doing, and stick with it. You're not the only one. But I'm wondering, am I the only one that was thinking what I was thinking the other night? I don't know. I just know that I've had a lot of nostalgia lately. And I'm just wondering if the nostalgia hits just due to the fact of having a little extra time, which, possibly do I have. Trying to go back and find, certain movies to watch. A lot of them are older movies, 20, I was thinking, 1996, 2024, and 2026, 2 more years. The movie that I had just talked about, From Dusk Till Dawn, is 30 years old. And that movie from then until now has been more time passed than from when I was born to when I actually first saw the movie. So in these 28 years that the movie has been released, I have seen the movie, 10 to 15 times. And it just seemed like, and I'm not really all that old, but it just seems like, where did a lot of these years go? Where did these decades go? Where did the 20s go? Where did the 30s go? And you can't really hold on to that, no matter how hard you try. The time is just slipping away. Slipping away to the future. And I don't know how I feel about that. How do you all feel about that? I don't know. But I'm going to get off here tonight. It's cold, rainy, and I hope that we don't get the weather that we're expected to get. That's not what we want. We want sun and warmth, not cold snow. So thank you once again for tuning in to the Other People's Show. I rambled enough tonight on this Friday, January 12th. Go to all of our social media pages. That's the Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, The Other People's Show. Tune in every Thursday at 10 p.m. for The Dark Place. And be sure to catch all the fun, exciting programming on WLSD and WAXM. You all have a good night.